there are quite a few editions of the fourth book of Occult Philosophy on the market, and I eventually settled on the version edited with commentary by Stephen Skinner. It's a 2015 reprint of a reset version from 2005 with modern type, which is based in turn on his 1978 facsimile. This was the first time it was presented since 1655, when it was first translated into English from the Latin, which was first published in 1554. So the publication happened a few decades after the death of Henry Cornelius Agrippa, and actually Stephen Skinner's introduction is very, very interesting. There are two introductions. There's the introduction to the 2005 edition, where he actually suggests that the controversy over who the real author of the couple of books in this collection of 6 books. Only 2 of them are actually attributed to Agrippa, of occult philosophy, and the first book of geomancy. The others are attributed to other authors. The very famous Heptameron by Peter D'Urbano, and Stephen Skinner suggests in his introduction that maybe the ones that were attributed to Agrippa maybe were actually written by him, which is surprisingly not a very popular point of view. But it's as I say, his introduction to the 2005 edition, followed by an introduction to the 1978, where he gives each of the 6 books contained in this compendium an introduction of its own. Absolutely fascinating and really, really well worth a read. Why did I pick this particular version? Well, I have tremendous respect for Dr. Stephen Skinner. I don't always agree with everything that he has to say, or his ideas about how various aspects of magic work. But that's really neither here nor there. Everything that he has to say is always very interesting, and certainly cause for thought. Now the book itself is a hardcover, and that really is the final reason why I picked this one over the follow-up to this Donald Tyson version, which is only available in paperback for the 4th book of Occult Philosophy. So maybe when they come out with a hardback edition of Donald Tyson's version, I'll get that as well. In the meantime, this is really lovely. It's the texts themselves, right? So what do you get? You get of Occult Philosophy. You get the Heptameron, which is a very, very nice, quite straightforward ritual for conjuring the spirits, the planetary spirits of every day and every hour. This circle on the cover comes from the Heptameron. It's the circle that is described in the Heptameron, at least it's the circle that can be used in early spring, I believe, because it changes depending on what time of day you're using it, what season you're using it, and so on. So you can't just take this and use it. You have to construct your own depending on what exactly when you're using it. Okay. So I was still showing you the contents, and so that's the first two, the heptameron. Next we have the isagogy, or isagogy, which is Georg Pictorius Philinganus's very interesting treatise where he gets two opposing points of view on what magic is, from the points of view of Castor and Pollux, yeah, so that's a fascinating read. Then the Arbatel of Magic, which has I've made another video on Joseph Peterson's edition of that, and then Stephen Skinner has restructured this so that the two books on geomancy follow each other, and that's a really nice introduction to geomancy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a great divination system, which is probably not as well known as it should be. It's very much the Western version of the I Ching. Really recommend checking that out. So after the two introductions, you get straight into the... Look at that, how cool is that? Into the books themselves. Yeah, so Dr. Skinner suggests that if the first English translation had been called anything other than Henry Cornelius Agrippa's fourth book of occult philosophy, it should really have been called 6 random books of occult philosophy, of which 2 are attributed to Cornelius Agrippa. And there might have been much less controversy around who wrote this. So yeah, very, very nice head letters there, and in fact each work has got a nice head letter. And then each book is copiously annotated. Yeah, Dr. Skinner's got some very interesting insights on virtually every page. So a lot of these are available on Joseph Peterson's The Esoteric Archive, which is available online for free, so you can just check that out. But it's really, really nice to have these in paper form. I know that there is a version by Ibis Press that contains the Heptameron and the Arbatel of Magic together, but just those 2 books. It's also possible to buy on Amazon only Agrippa's book, the first one on the nature of magic, of occult philosophy, or of magical ceremonies. So you can buy that one on its own on Amazon under the name Fourth Book of Occult Philosophy, which I think is a bit of a con. unfortunately, this edition is bundled in under the same title, and therefore all the negative reviews for that version can be found when you find this edition as well, which is unfortunate, because this edition really is absolutely complete, and very well displayed, and well researched and beautifully presented. So yeah, here's the example given for Sunday in spring, the first hour of the Sunday in springtime. A quick note about hours. This is probably not news for a lot of viewers, but the first hour of a day in all of the magic traditions is the first hour after sunrise. So sunrise marks the beginning of the first hour of the day, and sunset marks the beginning of the first hour of the night. So obviously, with longer and shorter days, you're always going to have, I believe it's 12 hours in your day, so each hour is going to be longer or shorter depending on how long your day is. It's going to expand depending on how long your total day is. There are some really nice apps for your mobile phone, which will tell you which when the first hour starts, or when the 7th hour starts. It'll also tell you which planet each hour is attributed to. There we go. So here is the Arbitel of Magic. Now, of course, and as is perfectly reasonable, this version of the Arbitel doesn't include the Latin in the way that Joseph Peterson's book, which is only the Arbitel of Magic, does include both the Latin on the left side and then the English on the right side. There we go. How cool that is. So yeah, so that really does conclude. This is doesn't quite conclude. This is geomancy. This is for those of you who are new to geomancy. These are the various figures that are displayed in a particular order. It's quite a long process to describe, but this describes it quite well. There are some great resources online, once again, if you're very interested to get started, to understand how the mothers, and from the mothers you calculate what the daughters are, and then from the daughters you calculate what the nieces, and then the what's it called, the witnesses, and then the judge. It looks very complicated, but actually it's extremely simple. You just need to follow the instructions. Yep, and yeah, that really does conclude. Oh, what happened to my autofocus? Come on, come back. Here we go. So that concludes my review of this edition of Agrippa's 4th book, so-called, of occult philosophy. I strongly recommend it, and also Ibis Press, if you would be so kind as to put out a hardback edition of Donald Tyson's version, I will buy that as well. Just to give you an idea of the size of this Ibis Press edition. There we go. compared to the Llewellyn hardcover of the 3 books. There we are. Okay, well, I hope you liked the review, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps me and the channel. Every time anyone makes a comment, for example, or hits the like button, it really makes a big difference. So thank you very, very much for all of you who do that on a regular basis, and yeah, do consider subscribing if you like this video, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.